Alrighty, good afternoon and good evening, Southwest Arkansas. Welcome back to Southwest Arkansas weather here as of January 8th, as of 8:30 p.m. We're doing this live stream a little different here. We got Kevin Conant, meteorologist Kevin Conant, and Michael Monica Jr. here, or forecaster Michael Monica Jr. here with us on the stream. You're not going to be able to see them. They're going to be doing it through the voice, and they're going to be doing it just with microphone and that, not the face cam. But we're gonna start off here real quickly with taking a look at what type of winter weather and all of that. But real quickly, I did want to say one thing. We did get a bunch of questions throughout the day today about, I guess, there was something about us collaborating with Arkansas Weather Watchers. I have no idea what that is because we didn't get any messages, anything of that nature. So take that as you will. We've been doing our own thing, so we haven't had any messages from them. I just wanted to make that clear there as well. But once again, just welcome back to the page, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. So taking a look at what type of winter weather we could potentially see here as we go into tomorrow, you can see that really we had a little bit of some changes with the map. Predominantly a heavy snowfall over the Mena, Mount Ida, Hot Springs area. Then there's going to be an area of freezing rain, sleet, and snow there for about the D Queen, Derricks, Kirby, over down potentially towards the Murfreesboro area. And that's that general area there as well. Delight over to Arkadelphia and the Sheridan area. And then you have that area right there in the middle where we're seeing an increasing concern for freezing rain, and then a little further south there for the Magnolia, Bradley, just south Texarkana, Camden, El Dorado areas. A winter mix and rain will be a possibility as we go throughout the time frame tomorrow. And we're going to go ahead and take it over to Michael and Kevin's part here. So going to go ahead and have them come in. So go ahead with your...
All right, my name is Michael Monica Jr. As Noah said, I most of what I do on the page, because you don't always see my name on any of the forecasts or anything. That's because most of what I do is project management, and I do forecast on the page, but a lot of it is behind the scenes, and I work on projects. Like, for example, one of the projects I'm working on now is actually working on building the subscriber hub for the page, which if you would like, you could check that out. We're trying to do more with that. So that's one of the several projects that I have going on with the page right now. And so, as far as the complications of this forecast have gone so far, we one of the biggest concerns and factors we had to put into the forecast, and is why you actually see increasing concern of freezing rain and winter mix / rain down here in the southern parts of our coverage area, is because of something called warm air advection. And Noah, if you don't mind taking us over to the maps real quick.
Don't mind at all.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is the NAM high res, which we just got the 0Z data in for this evening. And I will be using the 850 millibar temperature, height, and wind. And so first thing you'll notice, so 850 millibars is about 5,000 feet above ground level. So this is a little bit above the air, what we consider low levels of the atmosphere. So really the most important things to note here is that your blue line here between that very dark greenish blue shade and then the very dark blue is your 0 degree Celsius temperature line. We'll call the freezing line at 5,000 feet up. That is, you generally want to be at 0 or below, because that's 32 degrees or colder for snow or winter weather, like in the form of snow. If you're anywhere warmer than that, you can start to get anything from sleet to freezing rain, just to kind of keep it simple, especially for surfaces below freezing like we're expecting. So currently, as of right now, well, really the entire area is right at 32 degrees, but as we go forward, here's one of the concerns that we've had to look at. Notice how the freezing line is backing northward, and actually it's actually kind of done it more on the 0Z run. See, that's the thing that's exactly what we mean. So what you start to get with this is your temperature at 5,000 feet is beginning to increase. Now, this is not surprising because we have this system coming in from the west, which it's really crazy to me because this is a little bit unrelated, but is related to the system, where this same system bringing us a snowstorm, winter weather event, is actually causing crazy wildfires out in California. It's kind of crazy how one system has a variety of impacts. But anyways, as the system approaches us, what we like to call warm air advection will begin to take place over the area in tandem with daytime heating that's going to warm us anyways at the surface. So with that being the case, as you've noticed here with what Noah just did, was he looped the run down to about tomorrow midday, which is when we're expecting the precipitation to start. And we are, well, if you take this model verbatim, we are above freezing at 5,000 feet. Now, Noah, if you don't mind panning to that same time looking at surface temperature, and we'll kind of adjust this because I don't think models are taking into account the very cold air that we have tonight. So another thing we have to do as forecasters and meteorologists is kind of like adjust the forecast regardless of what models say. We have to put the meteorology into it. So this model is given about lower 30 or mid 30s, even upper 30s. We're going to, because of the air mass that's currently in place, we're going to modulate that a little bit down to mid 30s just to kind of make a little bit more sense with what's going on right now. But still, the surface is still generally would be above freezing even after doing that. And 5,000 feet is above freezing too. So what this would mean is instead of when precipitation starts and the surface cooling when the precipitation starts, because the 5,000 foot layer is above freezing, you're going to start as either rain or freezing rain or sleet. It won't necessarily be a snow start because of, again, warm air advection at 5,000 feet. That's not good for snow unless you are at freezing or below. So with that being the case, it's giving us concern we've noticed this as a trend for the last couple of days, honestly. We've kind of had this in the back of our minds for the last couple of days, and it's really showing up now. So, Noah, if you could go to the HRRR and we could see the same thing, the same parameter, and notice we'll see the same thing. So again, right now, we're pretty good below freezing, but as that system approaches from the west, look at what happens. We warm up, and we are above freezing in most of the area before precipitation starts. So what that's going to do is, I will note that the HRRR was a little bit warmer or a little bit cooler to the west in Oklahoma and Texas at this time. But what that's probably going to end up meaning for at least southern half of the area to start, like our graphic said, was increasing concern for freezing rain and potentially even full-on rain if not a wintry makes for the southern 1/4 of the coverage area. That's something that we've had to deal with for the last couple of days, and unfortunately now we've seen this kind of trend happen over the last couple to like 3 days or so, and it's been happening enough to where we're kind of concerned about there not being full on snow. It might be more of a mixed bag of precipitation, winter precipitation. And if for any of you who don't like ice, that might not be news you want to hear, but unfortunately it's kind of what we're looking at, because I mean, we just looked at 2 models, and only took about like 3 to 5 minutes talking about those 2 to 3 models, but seeing the same warming at 850. Now, I will say this though. I wouldn't be surprised to see snow on the back end of this, because Noah, if you take that further, you will see the colder temperatures wrapping in behind the low pressure, especially as we go throughout the night on Thursday night into Friday. As that system begins to depart, you get that cold air to wrap around back in. So I wouldn't be surprised to see areas ending with snow that can cool down adequately at 5,000 feet. Because presumably at this time, the surface would be at least near cold enough or cold enough to produce winter weather. And you can honestly see the effects, Noah, if you just want to use HRRR, you can see the effects of that warm air advection. Instead of it just being straight snow all across the board, you've got honestly a mixed bag. You've got these different colors, which you're going to see here in just a moment. You've got blue, which of course is snow. You've got purple, which this model is saying is sleet, but it could be more of a mix. And you've got even in the far southern quarter, you've got rain. So I mean,
and I do want to
verbatim. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to come in here and say though, this model is showing rain, but if you back this up about that same time and look at where it's saying rain at, temperatures at about that same time, let's go here and show this. Temperatures will be right around or near freezing as well during that same time frame. So, that's one thing. It's showing rain, but Does that rain cause it to cool even quicker? What does temperatures do with data? There's still a lot of questions, and that could easily turn into freezing rain if you're not careful. I didn't want to mention that, but I'll let you go back ahead into that.
Yeah, yeah, that's the problem here. So I'm glad you mentioned that because the surface temperature and temperature at 5,000 feet are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
So like Noah mentioned, if it cools down to 32, and below with that precipitation falling, that does not necessarily cool the temperature down
Yeah.
at 5,000 feet with a consistent flow of warmer air from the south. So what that would do is your snowflakes that are falling through the lower atmosphere, it would melt them and then turn them into raindrops. But then that raindrop, once it gets to the ground, because it's below freezing or at freezing, it becomes freezing rain, which is what Noah was so worried about when it came to if that model is even slightly off. If that model is even slightly off, that means you have a much bigger area, a much bigger problem of freezing rain than you are actually being led on to believe here. So that's actually a really good point, Noah.
Yeah.
I have something to
And I believe
combat
that's most of it. I mean, you did see the loop on the HRR. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to go back over that just to kind of reiterate that, but you see mixed bags all over our coverage area, and that's simply because the warmer air that is being interjected at 5,000 feet causes this. It causes different precipitation types across the area, and this is why winter weather can just be so like 5 miles away is all snow. From one point it's all snow, but at that location it could be like freezing rain. But again, 5,000 or 5 miles away to the north or whatnot, it's snow. Just really tight gradients, and that's what we could actually be seeing tomorrow because of the added factor of warm air advection. And if that's basically my piece, if Kevin is ready, because he should be here, if he's able
Yeah.
to go, then he's good to go.
Let's transition now
our
back over to the accumulations maps and all that stuff, and we're going to let Kevin take over with that. So give me just 1 second and go ahead, Kevin.
So there is your precipitation top map. And as you notice that we've highlighted a dark magenta purplish color across the I-30 corridor, and that is because of the warm air advection. You have the 5,000 feet above freezing, but you have temperatures at or below freezing, and that is going to cause a mixed bag of winter precipitation. In fact, accumulations wise, on the sleet, which we don't have a map on yet, I'm very concerned about that area getting more than half an inch of sleet. Not snow, not freezing rain, but half an inch of sleet. That isn't at 31 degrees, 32, or even 33 with the ground temperature colder because of tonight's temperatures will cause major travel issues. And I'm getting very, very, very confident with the northwest trend, getting that up into the Nashville, D Queen, Murfreesboro, Prescott, Arkadelphia area. That is one of the main concerns I have. Freezing rain is also a legitimate concern with right before it cools off. As you notice, 850 millibar temperature were pumping up into the I-30 corridor with temperatures 31 to 32, if not a little colder, 30 degrees. That would cause icing, accumulations of freezing rain reasonably 0.10 to 0.25 inches, which is not bad enough for power outages, but once you get to quarter inch or greater, that's when you can start getting power outage issues. The roads will become treacherous as soon as you get any ice, but that is when you start getting significant issues. And if you want to go to the map of the NAM 3 kilometer freezing rain Fram index, that is showing some bullseyes of quarter inch or greater freezing rain accumulations. And this has been a consistent trend, and it's got it up to about Nashville. It has it in the I-30 corridor, basically. And I wanted to say that the far southern sections, I am actually concerned about them actually possibly transitioning to rain because of the rapid warm air advection, southeast winds at the surface, With that, you're getting warm air out of Louisiana. So I think 33 degrees is reasonable before you even transition to snow. So that could be a good saving grace. We're still trying to figure that out. Possible saving grace for them ice-wise, but they're still under a winter storm warning. You're only a degree air. But I'm thinking that you might could transition to rain in some of those areas, and then the freezing rain in sleep corridors, the I-30 corridor, based on everything I'm seeing, that right there enough is to cause power outages, treacherous travel, especially dark. During the day, sleet will cause some impact, but during the nighttime hours, travel will be treacherous across basically northwest the I-30 corridor. That's almost a given at this point, even with the northwest trend. The northwest trend and a slowing trend suggests more wintry precipitation for a longer period of time. So let's go to the snow accumulations. I noticed something. If you do get it, we are seeing a slowing trend. As Michael said, as you deepen a trough and you amplify it, it slows down. It allows more moisture, more time for precipitation to occur. Snow accumulations will be notable, especially northwest of the I-30 corridor. I noticed that some of the models had 9 inches of snow, like the Euro did, and 10 inches of snow for the I-30 corridor. However, due to the meteorology behind it, we shifted that to the northwest. Also, the NAM 3 kilometer has a 7 to 8 inch snowfall in the 4 to 6. So 4 to 6 is the most likely scenario in the 4 to 6 area from Nashville, Horatio, Arkadelphia, in that corridor. But reasonably, you cannot rule out a higher amount up to 8 inches in that area with any banding. The snow accumulations, confidence rapidly increases by Derrick, Glenwood, that area. You can draw a line to the northeast, just down there. You got Umpire, you got Wick, you've got Athens, you've got Malvern, basically Hot Springs, Mena, Cove. 7-10 inches of snow is likely, and I will let you know, since we are within less than 12 hours of this event actually starting, there's models showing a 15 inches of snow accumulation up in the mountains. So 7 to 10 inches locally, a foot of snow is becoming very likely, would y'all say?
Yeah, I'd say,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
in a way, based off data for sure. 7 to 10 inches is a good base, though. Can't, like we always say, you can't rule out higher amounts depending on just how you may get put under a heavier band in certain areas, and that can accumulate faster. There's a lot of stuff that can change, and a lot like we've been mentioning, a lot of things that can happen to throw a kink in, or either throw a kink in and make the accumulations less if you have a little bit more of that warm air advection, or if you don't get as much, that could help increase snow values or snow accumulation elsewhere. But yeah.
That is the expectation. I'll turn my attention further south, though. That was the most confident side of the snow accumulations. The southern side, unfortunately, has the most uncertainty with the snowfall accumulations, such as Hope, Garden, over to Pine Bluff. That area right there, snow accumulations 2 to 4 inches, most likely with all these trends going on with a northwest shift, even with wraparound snow. Everything should stick, but 2 to 3 inches is most likely, with a higher amount up to 4 with a northwest shift, even though the HRR again shows 9 inches of snow down there. But I believe is shifting everything with the trends is northwest with the snow. This is due to just the how the trends are progressing with the warm air aloft. The warm air aloft on the HRR is not as robust as the NAM, so we need to continue to monitor those trends. And as this event occurs, we will likely modify this map if we need to on snow accumulations. But I'm pretty confident that you're going to get snow from Texarkana, Hope, Nevada, Little River, Hempstead, Clark, over to Dallas County. But the confidence on how much snow remains to be seen. But with y'all having freezing rain and sleet, the impacts are just the same, if not actually worse than your heavy snow accumulation. The Bradley, Magnolia, El Dorado, and Camden area, there's a lot of data not showing much snow accumulation there, and that's the reason we went up to 1 inch. We will continue to monitor it. Even with snow wrapping around, if you end up getting rain, if this ends up transitioning 33 degrees, it will cut snow accumulations down. Now, if it stays ice, your snow accumulation will actually go up due to sticking on the ice. So that's why we went 1 to 1 inch. You could reasonably, on the high end, see 2, but you'd also see little to no snow accumulation in those southern counties. And I believe that is the trends going on, and that is the reason for the snow accumulation, the ice accumulation. And we're going to add a sleet accumulation map right after this live stream to account for the rarity of this system. You usually don't get 1 to 2 inches of sleet with snow and freezing rain. It's usually freezing rain or snow. It's not very often we've actually had 3 precipitation types overlap one area. That's could be very significant in May. Some people said durational. I called a few people today. Have they ever seen freezing rain, sleet, and snow on? It's very rare. So it is one for at least a decade.
Yeah. But one thing I do want to mention here, I see people asking about the timing and that sort of stuff. I'll get to that here in just a minute. But one thing I do want to mention, like Kevin was saying with that ice accumulation, we're going to go back and look at that. One thing, there still could be some changes depending on what occurs with temperatures tomorrow, because like we've been saying, that data's wanting to show some rain mixed in there with that down there across that far southern portions of the area. But if temperatures are near freezing or at freezing or, below freezing at the surface while still being above with that warm air advection about 5,000 feet, that's going to be more higher ice amounts throughout the day potentially there as well. So that's another thing we're watching there for that. And I think we're going to go over to the timing now. So I think I'm going to go back over to the data and just give you a general idea. Now remember, data's going to change. It's always changing. It's one of the tools we use. It's not the only tool. There's a lot of stuff you got to do to really be able to break down what you see. You can't just take it as that's what will occur. But we're going to show you the potential timing. We're going to use the NAM 3K and the HRRR to get this across. So this starts off at 7 p.m. and then if we continue this forward, you'll see overnight tonight, really throughout the day in the morning. I'm not going to rule out a possibility by that 9 a.m. time frame of maybe starting to see just some. It's not going to be widespread, but you could start to see some about that 9 a.m. time frame across portions of the area. But as you head towards that 10 to 11 a.m. time frame, you could start to see that increase in the west and then continue to really pick up over MENA by that afternoon time frame or just northern portions of the coverage area. And then really after 12, it starts to move in across the area. Hope, I seen that question. Probably, I would say prepare for at least at 12 to in the afternoon. And then that'll continue onward throughout the day. And once it starts, it's going to keep going throughout this time frame. Now remember, this may not all be rain. There could be some freezing rain there. Temperatures are really close. There's some areas that we'll probably see a wintry mix, but you get the general idea here. This is going to continue overnight and into the morning on Friday, and your highest snow accumulation totals will probably occur. What do y'all guys think as well? From about 6 p.m. Thursday to about 6 a.m. Friday.
I would tend to think so. The overnight period when that most of that forcing comes in. What do you think,
Yeah.
Kevin?
To be more specific, I believe your highest snow accumulations generally should occur between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m.
Okay. Yeah.
That is when the bulk of it will occur. Snow accumulations will occur across the northern half by mid-afternoon.
Yeah, so that's one thing we'll be watching for that as well. But then, as you see here, continuing through Friday morning, it starts to move out by late Friday morning, early afternoon time frame, and then after that, it moves through, and then we'll be done with that. Now, temperatures on that other side, we'll have to watch road conditions Thursday. They'll probably continue to worsen throughout the day on Thursday and end the day on Friday. And one thing I do want to show you, this is from the National Weather Service. This is their winter weather severity index map. And what you're going to see here, I'm going to pull this up, so give me just 1 second here. You'll see this map here. It's colored red across most of southwest Arkansas, and then purple down here across Magnolia, Camden, El Dorado, and the Warren area. And I'm going to pull this right here and let you be able to read this. The red colored areas is major impacts. Expect considerable disruptions to daily life, dangerous or impossible travel conditions. Avoid travel if possible. Widespread closures and disruptions to infrastructure may occur. And then those extreme impacts, which I really think that's pointing more towards the ice potential down there across that area with that. And once again, that's basically expect substantial disruptions to daily life. Once again, you could see that ice and snow. So make sure you have your iDrive map or your iDrive app, Arkansas iDrive app, and make sure to be able to keep an eye on roads tomorrow. We'll try our best throughout this event to post road updates to keep you updated with the newest. And we're going to continue to monitor for any new trends and all that stuff. Remember, weather's always changing. So just keep looking for new updates in case we have any changes or anything of that nature. But if y'all have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, because I think that covers everything that we were going to. But I'll make sure the rest of us don't have anything else to say.
I wanted to, before I had that call, I want to summarize the snow accumulations. So you go north of Derrick, your snow accumulation will begin by just as soon as early to mid-afternoon, because you'll have below average temperatures and below 32 degrees and cold air loft. And so your snow accumulations will occur pretty quickly then, but your notable snow accumulations will occur during the dark. At night, snow rates will increase. Actually, whiteout conditions in our northern parts of our counties. So that area, that traveling then during the night, is going to be bad. That's when the worst the weather will occur. So there's many questions that, can you travel during the day? It is, yeah, you can if you're careful, but I would be very cautious. But at night, that's when everything goes downhill, especially if you're not used to traveling. I know other law enforcement and EMS, such as Pafford, you have your sheriff, state troopers, they have to be out in this. And this is one of those more significant winter storms, and they will need as much people off the road as possible so they can do their jobs. But if you got to work, take extra time to work. Have a flashlight, have a blanket, have a weather kit ready. So you end up getting stranded. And also drive slow and take your time. Especially if you're in a straight area, you're probably going to be okay. Hilly areas, that's where it's going to be really difficult, around curves. Yeah. Well, the southern half with that ice, I really feel really bad for y'all. With ice and sleet, the southern half like Nashville, That's probably where ultimately worst travel is. Anywhere you get sleet and snow, it becomes like a cobblestone effect. It's going to be bumpy, slick, slushy, a mess, and travel could be nearly impossible in some cases for some vehicles. So that is the impacts. That is your timing. Precipitation honestly should not occur by 6 a.m. Freezing drizzle may occur as soon as at 9 a.m. Sleet and all that precipitation depends where you're at. Snow north, mixed precipitation middle, and south during about noon is when it's going to begin.
Yeah.
If not a little bit before. Give a little leeway on that.
Yeah.
About an hour or two. That's it.
Yeah, just like Kevin summed it up, if you don't got to be out, basically, don't try to go out and explore. That's not the time to do it. Just make sure you have your stuff ready, just in case. As always, it's like we always like to say, it's better to be safe than sorry at the end of the day. But once again, as always, I think that's going to bring us to the end of today's live stream. So, as always, I don't see any other questions in the comments. Thank you to y'all for trusting us, as always, with your source for all things Southwest Arkansas weather. Do want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Palmer's Roofing, J&S Auto Supply, Terry's Place, Fort Smith Therapy, Tanner Energy and Nutrition, and Southern Dumpster Removal. Make sure to check them all out. And as always, make sure to be following the page for more updates. We're going to have them out consistently. Make sure to check us out on YouTube and all of that fun stuff as well. We post video content over there. And once again, as always, to all of our new followers, welcome to the page and have a good rest of your Wednesday. See you back here tomorrow with more posts and more updates as we go throughout the day. Thank you guys as always for trusting us right here with your source for all things Southwest Arkansas weather, and have a good rest of your Wednesday.